Overwatch is a Mary Sue fanfic written by D.Va. Bear with me here. Let me explain. Pretty much everybody knows what fanfic is, but for completeness' sake, fan-written fiction, or fanfics, have been around longer than most of us have been alive. The first written description of fanfic dates back to 1939 as a disparaging way to refer to amateur science fiction. Where fanfics really came to be what we know now was in the 1960s during the rise of the original Star Trek series. There were actually entire magazines put together to showcase stories written by Star Trek fans. It's interesting to note that somewhere between 80 and 90% of Star Trek fanfic writers were female. One of these female writers was Paula Smith. In 1973, she wrote a Star Trek fanfic called A Trekkie's Tale, which gave birth to a term and defined everything that was wrong with a character type, a genre, and a medium as a whole. The story revolved around a low-ranking officer named Lieutenant Mary Sue. She's the youngest officer in Starfleet, only 15 and a half years old. Is this starting to sound familiar? Wait for it. Smith's fanfic was a parody of countless types of stories, where teenaged authors would self-insert into their stories, and through amazing, previously unrecognized talent and determination, end up saving the Enterprise and become beloved by all the main characters, thus ascending to become the main character herself. These stories were everywhere. It was like the Bronies went back in time 50 years and became Star Trek fangirls. To this day, the term Mary Sue is used to describe a secret, wish-fulfilling, self-inserted author avatar into an established property. So, Overwatch. Overwatch is a really lore-rich story. Through various videos and comics, Blizzard has introduced the characters and defined the plot behind Overwatch. Then, Blizzard threw us a curveball. The game itself is not canonical to the Overwatch universe. That's easy to see from how not a single eyelash's Bat when Reaper, Widow, and Sombra team up with mortal enemies like Soldier 76, Ana, Tracer, and so on, and why good guys would be stealing nukes in Route 66, or trying to set off an EMP to destroy innocent Omnics in King's Row. Overwatch, the game, is just a story someone is making up about another story that was already ongoing. It's a fanfic. So, who is writing it? Hana Song. Hana wrote herself into a fanfic about Overwatch as a Mary Sue she named D.Va. She checks all the boxes. Box 1. Super young? Check. The next youngest character in Overwatch, not counting machines, is Junkrat, who is 25. Lucio and Tracer are 26, and really, in canon, Junkrat isn't an Overwatch agent. In a world where the founding members are pushing 60 or more, the inclusion of 26-year-old fresh meat recruits might make an obsessed fangirl think it not so out of the realm of possibility for a 19-year-old to be included too. Box 2. Ridiculously talented. Check. Obviously, Hana needed to write a backstory for D.Va, but she's not a very good writer. She wrote her to be a #1 champion pro StarCraft player at age 16, who, with other Korean champion gamers, was then drafted to pilot a mecha in a super advanced combat project to fight the Omnics. But she's also a movie star, and a Twitch streamer, and still has time to read and understand May's research.
May, I love reading your journal.
And never mind that we never hear about any of the other gamers who I guess just vanished, and never mind that real-time strategy skills absolutely in no way translate to piloting a mech in first person with 2 joysticks. All that sloppy stuff just gets glossed over anyway, because it's just her springboard to attempt to make it believable that this child gets to join Starfleet. I mean Overwatch. Box 3. Burrowing her way into the good graces of the main characters. Check. Everybody fucking loves D.Va. Lucio wants her autograph. She wants his too.
D.Va in the flesh! Woo! Can I get your autograph?
Only if I could get yours too. I love your new album.
Really, Hana is a Lucio fangirl, and wrote that exchange as pure wish fulfillment. In fact, why stop there? Reinhardt, the arguably most senior Overwatch member, wants her autograph too.
I was wondering if you'd sign something for me. It's for a friend.
Of course. Here you go. Love, D.Va.
Nobody, not a single person in the Overwatch game has an unkind word for D.Va. The closest anybody comes is Widowmaker, saying that the battlefield is no place for children.
This is no place for children.
Oh, burn. Leading up to the latest patch, Blizzard was concerned that D.Va wasn't getting picked enough at the higher levels, meaning Hana didn't think D.Va was OP enough for the story. So she got a big buff. Now she's a must-pick in every game. She's got the most health, most of it is armor, so it's technically better than health, and even if all that armor gets shot through, she can automatically jump out of her mech instead of dying and deal even more damage with her pistol that has a higher DPS than Hanzo, Genji, and Reinhardt, with no fall-off. She's also the only character able to trigger her ultimate during a death animation by design. Shoot down her mech, she can decide, almost retroactively, that it should self-destruct instead of just break during the animation. She never has to reload her guns because that's too complicated, right? Never mind that even Bastion in Sentry mode has to reload after 200 shots, and he's just as ostensibly belt-fed as D.Va's mech. Her defense matrix absorbs infinite damage for a time and blocks all projectiles in the game, even destroying ultimates spooling up like May's Freezebot and Hanzo's Dragon Arrow, before the dragons come out, that is. And she can just gobble up Pharah ults like popcorn, all of which puts it above even Big Daddy Consummate Tank Reinhardt's shield in potential utility. Only before it was a timed activation on a long cooldown, and that was still just too complicated, so they changed it to a switch she can just turn on and off. And of course she can fly, because why not? If everyone's going to love her and she's going to save the day, she's naturally got to be better than everybody. At 19. The only silver lining to this story is what often becomes the fourth box to be checked in a Mary Sue story. She dies at the end, so that all the characters can get together at her memorial and talk about how much they love her and will miss her. That's more childish wish fulfillment right there, straight out of, "If I died, you'd be sorry, Mom." I seriously doubt Blizzard will actually kill off for real any of the characters in the game, though it's not like there aren't one or two who badly need it. In this case, the best that can be hoped for is an eventual readjusting nerf to restore some semblance of balance and sanity to the meta. Maybe it's true that when the game launched, D.Va was just slightly underpowered spank bait, but now Mary Suva and the processes behind her creation are a big part of what's wrong with Overwatch. Thanks for listening to me rant, and I'll see ya when I see ya.